Okay.
We are good to go now.
Okay. I hope everyone is active now, and whosoever has joined. It is, as I said, like, it is really pleasure for us to have you on board, because we always try to make sure that this webinar, which we are having every 2 weeks, really helps you to prepare for your job. It helps you to prepare for your interview. It prepare in more technical terms as well. It is not just to prepare you for the interview, but at the same time we would like to prepare you for your job. So because when you will be working, you will be expected to have some technical knowledge, right? So that is why we try our best to keep two topics. One is on interview preparation, and like how can you build your LinkedIn profile, and another topic we always pick, that is a very brief introduction we try to give, so that whenever interviewer asks you a question, you are not new to the topic. Okay, so probably you're trying for solution architect, or you are preparing for your Azure fundamentals, but still, some kind of a scripting knowledge is also required, and that is why we actually chose this topic today, which is on Linux. And so initially for few minutes, I mean for 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to talk about interview ethics, and after that we will talk about Linux. So here I am Naman Jain, and I am representing my entire team of Thinkcloudly. So now there is a very good backend team who is sitting in the background, who takes care of your of your trainings, which happens every day. And I think the people who are joining us new today, very first time. So I just want to introduce Think Loudly. So Think Loudly is actually e-learning platform where we deliver training not just conceptually, but our goal is to make sure that you gain experiential training, where you gain enough experience so that whether you're coming from non-technical background, whether you're coming from non-IT background, whether you might be working in IT, but still you want to switch your career into cloud or any technical field, we help to prepare you by providing experience, not just knowledge plus experience. That's our goal. We are fortunate enough that many of our students who were associated with us have already got the job, and they are working in IT as cloud architect, cloud engineers. They are working as solution architect. They are working as cloud integration engineer. So there are so many results which we are seeing, and that actually brings a very good amount of confidence in each one of us who works for Think Cloudly, that we can transform life for the people who come from any background, whether you are from healthcare, whether you are from tourism, whether you are from banking sector. But when you get associated with Think Loudly, we actually go extra step and make sure that you are well prepared, and you are really preparing well for your IT career. Okay, so this was all about Think Loudly, guys. If you have any question, you can always drop a ping on a, I mean, you can always drop a message to us. You can always give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you with all our courses we provide, and all our assistance we give to our students who are aspiring to be in IT, or who are aspiring to switch their career into better roles. Over here, today we are going to talk about, as I said, interview ethics and learn Linux. Without a further, delay, let's start with the first thing, that is interview ethics. Guys, please be active right now, because it is really going to help you a lot, because you will know that how I behave in the interview and how interviewer perceives me. Okay, it's important for us to know that whatever we are trying to speak or answer, how interviewer is actually trying to intercept us. So that is why it is very important to be active, at least in interview ethics session, so that you gain that knowledge. And when you go next time, you will keep these points in mind, so that you don't make mistakes and you increase your chances yourself to get selected. Over here, now the first slide which talks about over here is the ethics which we follow Okay, and versus we should follow. So right now we are following some ethics. Maybe we know or we don't know, but we are following this ethics, but what we should follow, that is something which we need to look at. So you need to understand that how interviewer is actually intercepting you, how it is, what impression you are leaving on him or her. So that is what important we are, that is what we are going to talk about right now. So this is like what we follow, and this is what we should follow. So let's go one by one on what we are following today and what is actually landing us in a bigger trouble. Okay. And then we will look at this part. So let's look at the first part. First part is use heavy technology terms. This is actually which you should not do. And this is what you should do. Okay. Always remember. So you should not use heavy technology terms. Day before yesterday, I was actually taking one of the interview, and the candidate who came to the interview, he was trying to use a very good or very heavy technology terms like Kubernetes, Docker, container. He was trying to use a lot of different technology terms, maybe AI, machine learning. And when I started asking question, I realized that he just knows the terms. He doesn't have in-depth knowledge on the terms. That actually leaves a very wrong impression in front of the interviewer, because you are trying to flaunt your technology knowledge, but in depth, you do not have the knowledge. So that is why very first point you should not follow, that is, you use heavy technology term. Don't use heavy technology terms in case you do not know about it. Okay. If interviewer asks you, do you know Kubernetes? If you do not know, just say, no, I don't know. Just do not say that I know. And when he asks follow-up question and you fail, that is the negative point you will get. And that will take you away from that job. Make sure you do not use any heavy technology term which you haven't heard or which you do not have in-depth knowledge about it. Make sure that you do not use any heavy technology term. I'm repeating it just to make sure no one makes this mistake who is on the call with us today. So do not use any heavy technology term. You just be confident. Whatever you know, answer that. Be logical, answer that. That's what important is. So you have to always respond. You have to always take those terms which are known to you and where you have in-depth knowledge. You might be going through some AWS cloud or maybe Azure cloud. So when you're going through AWS cloud, if you have studied EC2, talk about it confidently, because you have already gone through, you have already have practiced a lot, you know about it. Talk about it. That's what you should do. And when you will talk about something which you know, you will have double the experience, you will have double the confidence. And that's what is important in the interview, that you need more and more confidence, and you need to only stick to terms which you are aware of. Second mistake which we generally do, improper answers ending. Okay, let's imagine that interviewer is asking a question, and you are trying to, you do not know the answer, but what you are trying to do is you are trying to answer, but there is no end to it. Let's imagine that if I ask you, what is AWS? And you say AWS is a cloud where we can do this. I mean, you're not giving a proper answer. Whatever answer you give, take time and then give answer. Just make sure that when the question is asked, you are taking 5 or 6 seconds of time to think about the answer and then answer the question. That will show that you are going to answer better and your answers will make sense. There should not be like some people say like this, that AWS is all about cloud and all. I mean, if you just, okay, everyone knows what is AWS, but how does it help? You have to explain about it. You're going in the interview just to make sense. If you're not making sense, you will get a negative, a very big no on your application. So do not end your answers improperly. Make sure your answers make sense. logically and technically. Okay. And for that, you need to think about it. You need to take the time, take 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Don't rush and answer the question. You will make a very, very big mistake. If you answer improperly, he will understand that you do not have technical skills and he will mark cross on your profile. After that, propose multiple solutions. Okay, make sure that you are proposing multiple solutions to a problem. I'm telling you, this is what interviewer loves. If I am asking, see, for any technical question, there is always multiple answers to it. Okay, if I am asking you a problem, and if I'm asking a solution on a problem, there will be multiple solution to it. So let's say that you are living over here and there is a grocery shop over here. So now you can follow this path to go to grocery shop, and you can also follow this path to go to grocery shop, or you can go to this. So you have three solutions actually to reach grocery shop. In the same way, if interviewer is giving you a scenario, make sure you have multiple solution to it. You say, okay, I have, you can answer this way. Okay, I think there are a couple of solutions to it. First one is that we should do this. And second one is we should do this. I mean, if you follow this strategy, you will actually make sure that, you are getting that job, because you're not the one who is just focused on one solution, but you're focused on multiple solutions. That gives a very good confidence to interviewers. After that, which you do not, again, I'm coming back to the point which you should not follow. Resume in north and words in south. What does it mean? You should stick to resume. There are people, they get the resume ready by us. So Thinkcloudly basically, prepare the resume for a lot of people, a lot of students, and they never go back to their resume. They blindly go open up the LinkedIn profile, start applying the jobs, open up Zip Recruiter and start applying the jobs, open up Indeed and start applying for the job blindly. And you did not get a chance to look at your resume, read the resume, and when you went into the interview, you were speaking something which is not even written in your resume. Now, what will happen? Now, the problem here is, I tell you what happens. Even if I am an interviewer, HR, the recruiter will always send me a copy of resume of a candidate. Before I actually come to the interview, I will always look at the resume. Now, I have a perception that Destiny is coming into the interview and she has 5 skills. But when Destiny came into the interview, she did not talk about what is mentioned in the resume. She was into a very different direction. It's a problem. It's a problem. It means that whatever is written in your resume, you're not sticking to it and you are going into a very different direction. That's why resume in north and words in south, that should not happen. If resume is in north, you should speak towards north. So make sure that you should follow this strategy of making sure that if you are going in the interview, make sure you are looking at your resume. And when you go in the interview, you are sticking to your resume. If you really want some changes in your resume, do that and then go in the interview. But make sure that changes should be done before you share your resume with the recruiter. If you have shared the resume and then you make changes, it won't help, because recruiter will share the copy of resume with the interviewer maybe 2 days before your interview or 3 days before your interview. So make sure your resume, before you are going to share with your recruiter, that has all the necessary changes, and you can go back and talk to your recruiter and submit it. And when you go in the interview, in front of the interviewer, you are speaking the same thing which is mentioned in your resume. Okay, I'm trying to emphasize more and more, because these points should stay in your mind, okay, for a longer time. Answer the ask. This is something which is really important, guys. What happens if I am asking about Kubernetes and you are responding about Docker? Though Docker and Kubernetes are somewhere interrelated, but I'm asking about Kubernetes and you're answering about Docker. That is very, very wrong. That's why to solve this problem, you need to hear the question properly. If you didn't understand the question very first time, ask the question again. Ask the question 3 times. It is not a problem, but make sure when you are when interviewer is trying to tell you the question, you are listening it to the properly, and then you're taking again 4 or 5 seconds and then answering the question. So always answer the ask. If you try to answer something which is which is not at all required to be answered, you are again in a wrong problem. So make sure you always answer the ask. And to solve, to make sure you are good at it, it's like you have to listen to the question properly. If in case you missed to hear the question properly, ask him the question again. Okay, make sure you're asking the questions again, and then you're taking time to answer it. Nervous and dilemma. So these are something which is very common in many of you guys, right? So when you are going to your interview, you are very nervous, very, you're very perplexed, and you're not, you feel that you're not prepared. See, one thing I tell you, on the day of interview, you cannot do anything. Trust me, you cannot do anything. Whatever preparation you have done, let's say today is your interview. So whatever preparation you have done before the interview, that is what is going to reflect in the interview. Okay. So getting nervous, getting confused is not the solution. It is actually a very, very bad point in you that you are getting nervous, you are getting confused. So make sure that on the day of your interview, just be confident. Whether you will get selected or whether you will not get selected doesn't matter, because that depends on your good time, that depends on your luck, that depends on interviewer mood. So you do not know like on what factors it depends that you will get selected. It might happen that you are very nervous, and when you go in the interview was very, very easy. It was not that difficult. So why are you getting nervous before your interview? So that's what is always recommended. Do not get nervous or dilemma or be confused. Go to the interview confidently. Just don't think whether you will pass or fail. Just do not think about it. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever results will come, it's okay. It totally depends on what preparation you have done till the day of your interview. On the day of the interview, you cannot do anything. It is totally on your luck. Okay. And always make sure that you are right. In the interview, some interviewers will try to say no, try to confuse you. But whatever you are saying, just if you are saying logically, just think that you are right. Okay. Just think that you are right. Whatever you are saying, you are right. Just don't, like, if interviewer says, think about it once more. Are you answering the right? Are you giving the right answer? If he says that, stick to your answer. Think that whatever you have said, you are right. He's trying to, he's trying to break your confidence. But because you know that you are right, you will not let that happen. So some of the interviewers, they want you to be confident because you need to face clients. You have to face the management when you will be working. So they test your confidence. And if you don't have confidence, you will lose it. Make sure that you will focus. You will focus on in the interview, and whatever you are saying, you are right. For that particular time, you are right. Probably you are giving the wrong answer, but don't let interviewer think that you are confused. No nervousness, no dilemma. Make sure just that you are right. In the interview, you are right. After you go home, you can check your answers. You can prepare for the next interview. But in that interview, you are right. So make sure you do not follow these points, and make sure you follow these points. Okay. We will send this presentation to you. You can always look at it and check what mistakes you are actually doing. Do not use heavy terms. Do not give improper answers. Your resume should be aligned with your words. You should not get nervous and be in a dilemma. Make sure whatever question is asked, you are answering with the non-technology terms. You have multiple solutions for your problem. You're giving the answer what is being asked, and you are right. Make sure you are right. Make sure you're right means that you have that confidence that whatever you are answering, that is right. Maybe after coming home, you will realize, oh, I was wrong. I was so confident, but I am wrong. That's okay. That's okay. But show your confidence. Okay. Just be a very good actor, just like Hollywood actors. Just try to be very good actor in front of the interviewer that you have the confidence. Though after the interview, you will realize, oh my God, but still you are confident. Okay. Make sure your confidence is very high. There are some extra tips, guys. I just want to quickly give you some extra tips. Be prepared. That's very important. Be prepared. Before a night, before one night, you can just prepare, see what you can prepare. But next day, be cool. Take time to answer. As I said, take 4-5 seconds just to think and answer. Don't think that interviewer is your friend. Okay. Do not do this mistake that interviewer is your friend. Interviewer is not your friend. Interviewer has come to hire you. He's going to evaluate you on multiple skills. If he is very friendly, he's talking to you in a very friendly term, and you start thinking that, oh, he's my friend now. No, interviewer is not a friend for anyone. After interview, he can be your good friend, but during the interview, no interviewer can be a friend. He's interviewing you for his own company, for his own organization. He cannot hire a wrong person. So make sure you're not getting very friendly with any interviewer. Ask relevant questions. Interviewer will give you a chance in the last to ask questions. Okay. Make sure that you are asking relevant questions in the last. You can ask what is the role I'm going to play if I am getting hired. So you can ask some relevant questions, but do not ask irrelevant questions. And also one more thing, one more tip which I want to give you everyone. This is really going to help you, and it helped me when I was searching for the for the job. It really helped me. Let's imagine that interviewer gave you a question to answer, and you are here, okay, and you need to answer this question. Now, probably you do not know the answer. What you can do, you can fire a cross question. Okay, you can fire a cross question so that interviewer simplifies the question. Okay, so let's say if interviewer asks you about Amazon Messi, you might not even heard about it. So what you can do, you can ask, is it about security, or is it about computing? Is it about storage? So that now what he will do, he will come to know that the question is not clear. He will try to simplify the question. Sometimes what happens, guys, that we hear the questions. If we don't know, we say we don't know. Give him the opportunity to simplify the question by asking relevant question. So you can say, like, if he's saying that like, what is EFS? What is AWS EFS? So you can say, is it related to file? Then he will say, okay, yeah, it's related to file. It stands for elastic file storage. Have you heard about it? Probably you do not know the full form, but you still are getting closer to the answer. You can always ask cross questions, but it should help you to simplify the question. It should not make the question, complex. You have to fire the question back to him to simplify the question, but not to make it complex. So make sure the question, the cross questioning which you are trying to do, you're trying to do it for simplifying the question. I'm repeating it so that you don't make the mistake. That's why always ask relevant question to simplify the question, or in the end, you can ask about the job role. That's it. Don't ask too many questions, not required. Okay. Approach solution. Try to approach solution. Like, you can give some idea, try to make it more discussion, not just Q&A. Make it discussion forum. So you can answer, and he will ask follow-up question, propose a solution. He will ask follow-up question, propose a solution. Try to approach a solution one by one. Make sure that whatever answer you are giving to answer that question, and the follow-up question he will ask, you have to again stick to your solution and make sure your answer always talks about solution. Okay. Give technical examples as much as you can. So if you know Our instructors always draw diagrams. Okay, that if you want to connect these two EC2 instances, you can connect. You can explain the same examples. So if you are, while you are preparing, right, make sure you have so many examples ready. So whenever you answer the question, support your answer with example, you will really impress interviewer. So it shows that you have past experience. So make sure that whenever you are trying to answer the question for any interviewer, you are supporting it with one example that will help to win the trust of interviewer on you, and then the life can be easier. And okay, so this is let him speak. Okay, this is the very blunder mistake which a lot of candidates do, that they try to cut the interview. Do not do that. Some of the interviewers are egoistic. Some have their very wrong mood, or some different mood, and they're coming into the interview with a very different mood. Make sure you're giving him or her a proper chance to speak. And when he ends his question, then only you answer it. If you try to answer half the question, again, that is a wrong impact. So do not make this blunder mistake. Let your interviewer speak as much as he wants. See, if you have 30 minutes of interview, if you think your interviewer wants to speak for 20 minutes, let him speak for 20 minutes. Now you need to answer only for 10 minutes. So your chances of getting selected becomes higher, because you are speaking for 10 minutes and you are speaking right. So let him speak as much as he can, so that you decrease the time for yourself, and then you will, whatever answer you give in 10 minutes, if you're giving right answers, your chances will become higher. So these are some of these tips, guys, which you need to really focus and follow. If you really want to go back to this session again and listen to it and make proper notes, so that you don't miss anything out. It really helps. I'm telling you, it really helps, because I've been taking interviews from past few years. So this is my own observation. When people, when my colleagues accompany me in the interview, at that time as well, I observe them, that what is irritating them, what is making them happy. So these are the points which I have collected. You will not find these points on the internet. This is something which is my experience, and this really helped a lot of my students. So I think it will help you as well. So this was about the interview preparation, interview ethics. I'll quickly jump onto Linux, because we do not have much time now. So we have 25 minutes more, and I have to cover Linux as well. So Linux, a lot of people think if Linux is written in the job description, a lot of people think Linux is scripting language. Okay. But to be honest with you, Linux is the operating system. Okay. So Linux is actually an operating system. Now, what is this operating system? Okay. Let's understand what is this operating system. So guys, in your laptop, you have the hardware. Okay. In your laptop, you have the hardware. What is hardware? Which you can touch. Let's say you have RAM, CPU, you have storage. If you just open up, if you just, pull out some nuts of your laptop, you will be able to touch all the hardware pieces. You will be able to see RAM, you will be able to see the processor, you will be able to see all your ports and everything. That is hardware. Okay. Hardware is actually a tangible object which you can see and touch. Now, there is software like Netflix. Everyone uses Netflix. Amazon Prime, Amazon.com, e-commerce website, Thinkcloudly.com, or what is this? These are the software. Okay. Now these applications or these software, how these software will know what to use, how much RAM to use, and how much CPU to use, or how to use. These softwares are made only for that particular function. Let's say if it's Netflix, you can watch movies. So Netflix can help you to watch movies. Thinkcloudly can help you to watch your recorded sessions. But how these applications are able to communicate with hardware and utilize hardware. So if you open Netflix in your laptop, right, it occupies RAM, it occupies your memory, your storage, it occupies a lot of hardware components. How this communication happens between software and hardware. that happens with the help of operating system. So operating system is actually a middleware. It is considered as middleware, software, middleware, and hardware. This helps software for the communication with hardware. So let's say if you open Netflix, right? Netflix will ask operating system, I want to consume 2 GB of RAM. Hardware will talk, sorry, so operating system will talk to hardware and will allocate 2 GB of RAM for Netflix. That's why whenever you open Google Chrome in your laptop, it takes some time. Why does it take time? Because operating system is trying to communicate and allocate the memory to your application. I hope everyone has always seen that whenever you open an application, it takes time to load. Why? Because there is a hardware allocation is going on in the background. That is why it takes time to load your applications. And that is the work of operating system. Now, always remember that operating system is divided into two parts: shell and kernel. Shell and kernel. Kernel is responsible to talk to hardware and shell is responsible to talk to software. Okay. So you can say, and these two people can talk to each other. So all the operating systems are divided into two parts: shell and kernel. Shell talks to software and kernel talks to hardware. Okay. Now, what are the examples of your operating systems? In day-to-day life, you're using Windows. That is your operating system. You're using Mac. A lot of people have MacBook. So that is Mac operating system you're using. And third one is Linux. Just like your Windows and Mac, there is a Linux. Linux is also operating system, which has shell and kernel and which helps to talk to software to hardware. So that is why Linux is actually an operating system. Okay, it is actually an operating system. It is a very good friend of software and hardware. So Linux is an operating system, and that's why it is a very good friend of software and hardware. That's why it facilitates the communication between software and hardware. It is Linux as compared to Linux, Windows, and Mac. We have always seen in our homes, we have Windows. Some people have MacBook. In our homes, we always use Windows. But you know what? Linux is being used much more than Windows and Mac. So Linux is actually very much popular for all the applications. So you're using Netflix, right? Netflix is using the server in the background that is on Linux, because Linux is lightweight, it is robust, and it is application friendly. That is why Linux is used widely for all the applications. Facebook uses Linux. Your Netflix uses Linux. All the applications, they are on Linux because Linux is lightweight and it gives much more capabilities. Okay. Then the question is that if Linux is the operating system, then why we use Linux as scripting? So this is the question which a lot of people have, that when we look at the JD always says that you should know Linux scripting. And over here in this session, I am saying Linux is the operating system. How is this possible that Linux is the operating system, but job description is asking about Linux scripting? Okay. So Linux is, as I said, Linux has two parts, shell and kernel. So shell is actually the scripting part of it, that you execute some commands to talk to hardware. Okay. So they want you to have a good experience on shell scripting. Okay. So they want you to have the idea about shell scripting. In every job description, when you see Linux, it means they are asking not about kernel. Kernel is the internal software, internal tool, which you cannot even touch and see. They always ask about shell scripting because shell is responsible for all the hardware communication. Okay. So they always want you to have skills on shell. Okay. So that is why Linux scripting is very important for us. When we go in any of the interview, it is really help because it is good to have actually. Now I just want to tell you before I actually jump on to a lot of commands, I want to tell you about something which might confuse you sometimes. So don't get surprised, just flavors. Flavors means Linux comes into a lot of flavors. Just like your ice cream comes into strawberry, your vanilla, a lot of flavors are there, chocolate. Just like that, Linux comes into multiple flavors. Okay. So we have, like, I have listed down 5 over here, but we have much more than five. Uh, 5 is the number, but there are multiple, you know, flavors you will find for Linux. So if you're working for one company, they might be using CentOS. If you're working for another company, they might be using Fedora. It doesn't matter. All these are the flavors, but it is actually made on Linux itself. So these are the flavors of Linux. Okay. So CentOS, Fedora, Mint, Red Hat, Debian. So whenever you go in the interview and they ask you that, have you heard about CentOS? So don't get surprised. It is just the flavor of Linux. CentOS Linux, Fedora Linux, Mint Linux, Red Hat Linux, Debian Linux. Okay, all are Linux. So don't get surprised. These are different organizations. What they have done, they have taken the Linux and created their own version of it. So Red Hat is an organization. If you search Red Hat on Google, Red Hat is actually an organization. What they did, they packaged Linux with more applications and they started selling it. Mint, they started selling it. So these are different organizations which are selling Linux. CentOS is something which is free of cost. It doesn't have any cost. Fedora, Mint, Red Hat, Debian, all they have different cost, but CentOS is something which is free of cost. Don't think that Linux has only 5 flavors. There are many other flavors in the market. But if you are aware of these terms, that's enough. One of the student, he asked me yesterday that recruiter is asking on which Linux you have worked on. So you can take few names if you want to. You can take CentOS, you can say Red Hat. Amazon has its own Linux. So when you create EC2, you select Amazon Linux 2 because Amazon has its own version of Linux. So just like that, there are multiple Linux which are available in the market. Don't get surprised. What is Red Hat? Red Hat is just a flavor of Linux. Okay. And Linux is actually made up of Unix. Unix, I think maybe 40 years or 30 or 40 years back, Unix came as an operating system in the market and Linux was made up of Unix. So Unix was the basic operating system. It was enhanced and it was made Linux. What Apple did, Apple as an organization, what it did, it again, instead of taking Linux, it took Unix and created the Mac. So whatever Mac you use, right? Whatever Mac you use, MacBook, if someone has MacBook, so MacBook is also made up of Unix and Linux is also made up of Unix. That's why a lot of MacBook, they have terminal. So Linux also has terminal and MacBook also has terminal. The reason is that Linux and Mac are made up of Unix. Okay, so you can say Mac and Linux are brother and sister, and they have a single mom, that is Unix. Okay, so you can just remember it like that. I know it's funny. So, but yeah, so it's like Linux and Mac are brother and sister, and Unix is actually their mother, and you can remember it like that. So Mac is also made up of Unix, and Linux is also made up of Unix. Always remember this point. Okay, now is the action time that we have to execute few commands. So first of all, Linux is command line interface operating system. So on MacBook, I can click on buttons. So you see this, I can click on this folder, I can go inside. This is graphical user interface. Interface means I am able to click on it. I can type, I can click on it, I can navigate, I can see something on my screen. That is graphical user interface. So MacBook and Windows are graphical user interface. But Linux is CLI, which means command line interface. Command line interface means that you are going to execute only commands. Let me show you. So let me show you. I just created one server for you before actually coming to the class. So what I did, I just created one Linux server over here on my AWS. So this is my Linux server. You can see it's my Linux server. And you can see the black screen. See over here, you can see black screen. This is the command line that you have to type commands to do anything on this. But if you want, if on your MacBook or in your Windows, if you want to open Zoom, you can do it. But opening Zoom on Linux is impossible because they do not have any graphical user interface. It is all CLI, which is command line. You have to execute commands and press enter. Some magic will happen. But over here on MacBook and Windows, you have to click to do some magic. Okay. But on Linux, you have to type commands to do some magic. Okay. After that, it comes with plenty of commands. Oh yeah, that's the problem of Linux, that it has like plenty of commands. It like never ending, that you cannot remember all the commands ever. I don't think so that everyone can remember the commands. We always have to look at the reference available online on Google for the commands, because even I cannot remember. No Linux expert can remember. Yes, you will get familiar if you use more and more with a lot of commands, but remembering all the commands is really very difficult. So it comes with plenty of commands. So over here, if you see that if I want to click on this file, I will see a lot of options in graphical user interface, but Linux is not that easy. Okay. So it's okay to remember few, but not all. Interviewer is not going to ask you all the commands in one shot. He's going to ask you one or two commands. That's enough. Now, what I did, to learn Linux, it takes a lot of time. But what I did, I actually divided the Linux into 3 parts. Just to make sure that we utilize this time, I have divided the Linux into 3 parts: file management, process management, and shell scripting. So when we say file management, so let me show you something. If on my laptop, when I'm using MacBook, if I want to see that which are the files listed inside this or folders listed, I can just click on it and I can see all my files. But on Linux, you have to use the command, and that is ls. ls command helps you to list down all the files inside that directory. So if I go back to my Linux over here, if I type ls, okay, it will show me files inside it. So it didn't show anything because there are no files inside it. Let me do one thing. Let me clear the screen now. Now I have changed my directory. I'll do ls, and you can see it has so many folders. It has so many folders and files. Now, ls is useful to display files and folders under that directory. So wherever you are, you can list down the directory and files. Now, it is very difficult, guys, to remember which one is file and which one is folder. It's really difficult. Are you able to get that which one is file and which one is folder? No, we cannot. So for that, you have to type ls-l. If you type this command ls, let me just ls-l, okay. Then you can see over here that this is the folder, because D is written here. D means directory. Directory means folder. So wherever you see D, that is the folder, and wherever you see L, that is the link shortcut. So this is, we have shortcut and links, but we do not have any file here. Let's say if I go in a folder that is USR, I want to go in this folder. Generally, if on my laptop, if I want to go into a folder, I can just double click on it and I will be inside that folder. If I want to go inside this folder, I will double click it and I will be inside this folder. If I want to go inside it, I will double click and I'll be inside that folder. But in Linux, if you want to go inside a folder, you have to type cd. Cd stands for change directory. So you have to change the directory. So right now I am in this directory, and these are the subdirectories. If I want to go into USR, I can type cd space USR. And if I execute it, see, I am inside USR. Now, if I want to see which files are there under USR, I can type ls-l, and it will display all the files which are there inside this USR. You can see files inside. So it's a bit tricky, it's not that easy to navigate. In your MacBook or Windows, it's very easy. You can click on the buttons and you will be inside that folder. But on Linux, you have to keep using 2 commands. One is ls-l, that will give you list of folders. Okay. And if you want to go inside a folder, let's say if you want to go inside games, you can go cd games. See, you are inside games folder. So there is a command called pwd. pwd command is used to tell you about present working directory. PW stands for present working directory. So it tells you where are you right now. So you are under USR under games. Okay. Now let's imagine I want to go back. In my laptop, in my local laptop, I can just click on it to go back. Okay. I'm back to documents. But if I want to go back to USR, right? Because USR is one directory, and under USR you have subdirectory that is games. But right now you are in games. You want to go back to USR. You have to use cd space dot dot. If you execute this command, what will happen? You will go one directory back. So if you run this command pwd, you will see you are one directory back. If you again want to go back, you can do cd dot dot, you will be one directory back. And if you type pwd now, it will give you slash. Slash is a root directory from where you started. Okay, that is slash. Now I can type ls-l. It is again listing down all the folders for me. If I want to go inside var, I will type cd, which is change directory space and the folder name var. And I am inside var folder. You can see, and if I type pwd, so I am inside var folder. If I type ls-l again, it will show me the folders which are under var. Now I can choose one of the folder. Let's say if I choose account, if I want to go inside account, again cd account. For few people who are new to Linux, it might be a bit confusing. I know about it, guys. But if you start using it, if you start following what I'm doing right now, you will learn. Okay, it is the matter of practice. How much you will practice, you will learn this. Okay. And now if you do pwd, you can see you are under var and account. And if I want to go back, I can type cd dot dot and I'll be back. If I type pwd, you can see slash var, I am back. This is what we use. I mean, I know it's very confusing, but ls is to list down the subdirectories and the files inside the current directory. cd is to change directory, that when you want to navigate from one directory to another directory, you use cd command. vi is the editor. It means if you want to create a file. So in my laptop, if I want to create a file, I can open TextMate, and it will open a notepad for me. See, it has opened a notepad for me. Okay, so you can see, and I can type over here anything. But if I want to create this file inside Linux, I have to write vi. If I write vi and the file name, let's say hello.txt. So I can start typing here. This is my notepad, and I can say hi, I am Naman from Thinkcloudly. Okay, so I am writing this over here, and now if I want to save it, I have to press escape, colon. You can see over here colon, I typed colon and WQ. So it will basically save. Oh, it didn't save. Just a second, guys. There is some problem. Oh, it's not letting me to write this file over here, but that's okay. I can just come out of it, Q and exclamation, and I'm out of it. You can see I'm out of it. So this is how you can create your own file. And like the way I can create the file over here, I can just type over here vi and file name, and it will give me a notepad to type anything over here. Okay. After that, we have commands rm. This is to remove a file. Let's say if I want to delete something. So let's say that in this folder, I have these folders, right? And I create a file that is touch hello.txt. This touch is also used to create a file. One second, sudo touch hello.txt. Now, if you do ls, you will see that file over here, hello.txt. Now I want to delete this. So to delete this, I will type rm. So I have to use sudo. Sudo is the special privilege. Sudo rm hello.txt. Okay, when I type this and I enter this, and if I type ls again, it has deleted that file. So in my computer, if I want to delete, I right click and I click on move to bin or delete option. But if you want to delete in Linux, you have to use rm, remove. Rm means remove. Just like that, we have other commands like mv. Mv means move. So in my laptop, if I want to move the file, I can just cut and paste, right? I can just click on copy and paste it. But if I want to do it in Linux, I have to use move command, mv. Mv is the move command. Cat means to show what is there in that file. If you want to open a file in my laptop, I can double click and open a file. Say if I want to open it, I'm going to double click and open a file. But in Linux, if you want to open a file, that will be through cat and file name, that will open a file. And cp means copy, move means cut. So you know that we can cut and paste, we can copy and paste. So move means, mv means cut and paste, and cp means copy the file. After that, we have process management. Okay, so we have this process management commands. Now in my laptop, if you see, I have so many applications running. You can see so many applications running. But how will I see this, all the applications running in Linux? So for that, I have to type the command that is ps. If I type ps, it will tell me what all applications are running. So you can see only bash is running. There is no application which is running. So ps lists down all the application. You can type ps-a. Yeah, it will show some, some running commands. So you can see over here, ps means to show all the process. If I want to see in my laptop, I can just see like this. But if I want to see it in the Linux, I have to type the command that is ps. If I want to kill this, okay, if I want to, in my laptop, if I want to close it, I just click on this and this application will be closed. But if you want to close the application, you have to kill in Linux, and you have to type kill -9 and the PID 717. If I do 717, it will close that application. So you have to use kill command for that. Okay. Then there is a top command. Top command will give you all the, like what is going on in your laptop. You can see. So it will tell you all the information about what is your CPU utilization, what is your memory utilization, whichever applications are running right now, which processes are running right now. So it gives a lot of different details. If you want to come out of it, you have to type. Yeah. So you can just press escape and type Q. You can come out of it. After that, if you want to list down the date, you can just type date over here and it will give you the current date. So it will tell you what is the current date and time, and date command can give you what is the current date right now. Then what is shell scripting? So shell is actually a list of commands. When you keep all the commands together in a proper execution order, that is your shell scripting. So let's say if I want to create a file over here, it's not letting me create right now. Let me just see. Sudo vi and test.sh. I'm creating a file. Vi is helping me to create a file, and sudo is a root privilege, and this is a file name text.sh. I'm creating a shell script and I press enter. I can type my command. Let's say I type, just a second. Yeah, I can type command, let's say date. Okay. After that, I can type the command, let's say ls-l. Okay. Now I can save it and see if it is getting saved. Okay. Yeah. So I'm able to save this file. This is my small script. Okay. Shell script. Now, if I want to run it, I can just run sh dot test. If I want to run it, I have to use sh and /test.sh, and it will execute it. You can see first it is showing me the date and it is showing me the list of directories under it, because I mentioned two commands inside it, date and ls-l. So first date is executed and then ls-l is executed. So shell scripting is, some people think that shell scripting is a very big thing. No, it is not. In one file, when you combine multiple commands, that's your shell scripting. In a simple words, when you combine multiple commands in one file and you execute it, that is your shell scripting. So it is list of commands which are listed in execution order. That's your shell scripting. Okay, it is nothing much. So you have gone through these commands. If you combine these commands in one script, that's your shell scripting. But that should solve some purpose. Okay, if we are listing down the date, So it is giving the date. So there should be a purpose of creating a shell script. You cannot randomly create it. There should be a proper purpose of creating the shell script. I don't want to take more time, guys. I know we are already top of the hour. We will quickly go through a very simple quiz. Everyone, please use the Zoom chat option, and guys, maybe like Gaurav or anyone in the team, guys, whosoever answers the first, make sure that you are noting down, and we will then announce the winner. Maybe later on we can announce the winner or in the same call. So I'm gonna take the quick quiz, and everyone, please answer the question. Okay, so I'm gonna start now. Hopefully you have opened the Zoom chat and you have to answer your question. So whosoever will answer in first 5, okay, we will consider that. So you have to be very quick. You have to read the question and answer it. Okay, so first question is, you have to type 3 important interview ethics which we should follow. So according to you, what you have learned in the session today, what do you think, what are the 3 important interview ethics which we should follow? Be quick, everyone. Answer the ask. Very good, Kingsley. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, Baljinder, let the interview speak. Yes, you're right. Destiny, self-confidence. Yes, you're right. Anyone else? Be confident. Yes, you're right. No tech terms and propose solution. Very good, Terence. Okay. Do not use heavy technology terms. Very good, Baljinder. That's a very good point, that you should not use heavy technology terms. Again, be prepared, technical examples, approach, solution. I think Akin is right. Or is a proper answer? Yes. Destiny, cross questioning. Don't rush to answer question. Take 5 seconds. Very good. Ron is also same thing. Wait 3 to 5 seconds before answering. Surya, be confident. Baljinder, different answers. Awesome, guys. I think you understood the point. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move to next question, everyone. Be prepared. 1, 2, 3. Everyone ready? Okay. So this is the second question. 3 important interview ethics which we should not follow. So what do you think we should not follow?
Avoid using heavy technology terms.
Exactly. Pascaline, please write. Do not answer. Yeah. Nervousness. Yeah. No nervousness. Yes. Do not nervous. Ignoring the resume. Very good, Baljinder. Ron, don't be in hurry to answer questions. Yes. Asking question when you are not asked. Okay. Yes. Don't turn late. Uh, don't turn late. We didn't discuss about it, but okay. Allow the interview to talk within the resume. Yes. And do not cut him off. This is a very good point. Do not cut him off. Answer the ask. Very good, John. You should always answer what is asked. So that is okay. So these but we have to answer which we should not follow, but that's okay. Let's move to another question. Okay, guys. Linux question. Is Linux an operating system, or is it?
Yes, it's an operating system.
Oh, okay, it's an operating system. Okay, so everyone knows now Linux is an operating system. Very good. It's not a scripting language. Do not say this Linux is a scripting language. Shell is the scripting language. Operating system is Linux. Linux is operating system. Okay. And within Linux, we have 2 things. One is shell and another one is kernel. So shell is the scripting language. Okay. Linux is not scripting. Okay. Fourth, what a command ls does? I think we saw ls a lot of time. What do you think, guys? What ls command does?
List files and directories.
Awesome. Yes. List content, list directories. Yes, you're right. So wherever you are, depending on your location, so depending on your present directory, you are going to list down the you list down the directories and the files which are there. Okay. Okay, last question, everyone. Last question. how to list down all the processes. What command we should use to list down all the processes. We need top 5. Hurry up, guys. No one?
We can use pit list.
PS. PS. It is PS. Okay. So we can use PS to list down all the processes, not the files and directories. I'm asking about the processes. Okay. Again, no, kill -9 is to kill the process. Okay. PS is to list down the processes. Okay. Do not use kill 9. If you use kill 9, you will delete some process which is not required. So don't do that. Okay, awesome. Q&A, guys, real quick questions. So if anyone wants to ask anything,
Could we have a chat, a one-on-one after the meeting, after this meeting?
yeah, you can ping us. You can ping us on WhatsApp. So on the website, you will find the WhatsApp button. So make sure that if you have any question. So if you go to our Thinkcloudly, anytime, guys, any problem you have, make sure you are utilizing WhatsApp. Okay. So on the website, you will see. Yeah. So over here, we have a WhatsApp button. Just click on it and reach out directly. Okay. Anyone else? Do you guys have any question which you want to ask?
Is user data shell script?
Is user data a shell script? Are you asking this, Destiny?
I'm asking because you said you list a series of commands. And
Destiny, I'm sorry about it, but your question is
sorry, sorry.
Uh-huh.
You were talking. You were trying. I want to understand more on the shell scripting where you said you put a list of commands, right? If I understood you well, if you want to execute the shell script, you just put like a list of commands, and it's gonna execute those commands.
Exactly. In a file, you have to list down the commands, and when you execute it, that is a shell scripting.
Okay, so I was asking now, when you're doing something like a user data, where you need to launch something,
Okay,
would you look at that like a...
Yeah, that is a shell script. You're right. So user data which you use, that is the shell script. Very good. Okay, guys, just want to announce one thing. We are starting a new session on Linux and Terraform on next week, 2nd July, Saturday and Sunday. If anyone is interested, do let us know. We have a limited seats, though I think we are already done, but you guys can, show your interest so that we can form a new group. So we can have a very good discussion on Linux if you really want to learn. And also we are going to discuss about Terraform. So make sure if you are interested to learn Terraform and Linux and add value to your resume, do reach out to us. And make sure that you visit our Thinkcloudly website, okay, and just explore our courses and explore our services. Yeah. Anything else, guys, you want to ask before we actually drop off? No question, anyone? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
What will be the fee structure?
Okay. So right now, the price for Linux and Terraform is $349, which covers both. It is actually USD, so it covers both Linux and Terraform.
Is it for 1 month or more than 1 month?
It will take close to 6 weeks of time. You can say 1.5 months, because we have to cover Linux as well as Terraform. And Linux and Terraform in itself, these are two different technologies, but it is very good technology for DevOps. If someone is interested to become a DevOps engineer, Linux, Terraform, and Jenkins are must. So you can start your journey. If you haven't, you can start your journey with Linux and Terraform. Probably you can sign up with Jenkins later on. Yeah, it's totally up to you.
Okay, a question, is there any discount for those already in 1 or 2 programs?
Definitely, we can talk about, you can show your interest to our admins or to me. I mean, you can just ping us, we can see that. I mean, this amount we can negotiate, that's not a problem. But yes, we cannot negotiate a lot, because in this price, we are offering both the courses and the sessions are live. Yeah.
And
What
sir,
if you've
one
done
more thing, what will be the
Terraform
timings?
already?
Timing are not yet decided. I think it is going to be 8 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Nama, if you've done Terraform and you're interested in the Linux part of it, what do you do?
Yeah, definitely you can come and join that. Yeah. If you, but okay. So that is tricky. Yeah, you can come and join Linux and Terraform. Like if in case someone is interested only in Linux,
Yeah.
though the cost will be little up for if you go for single course. But yeah, you can split and come. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So you said
Sorry, go
you
ahead.
said about that. When is it going to start? 1st July?
2nd July. We are at the tentative date right now. It's 2nd July. We are targeting to start on 2nd July. It's next Saturday, 1 week from now. So
So are you going to put all those information on the website so that we go through and then let you know our decision, please?
You already have information on website if you want to look at it. We have dedicated pages for that. So if you go to our courses and you go under DevOps, you will find Terraform. And if you just click on this courses button over here, you will find Linux.
Okay.
So if you do not find anything which you want to know, just let me know, okay? Or just ping us. We will help you. Certainly, we will help you. And if someone
Okay, thank you.
who is new, you can always leverage this option of WhatsApp here. You will see a small WhatsApp icon over here. You can click on it and you will be redirected directly to us, and we will be happy to help you. Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for coming. I know we are 14 minutes already up on the time. I think it really helps everyone. The sessions we conduct every 2 weeks, and
Yeah, it does.
please make sure everyone that you yourself, like if in case we miss to send the registration form to you, you are reaching out to us. If you like these sessions and if you want us to continue, reach out to us. Every 2 weeks we are going to have these sessions which are really going to helpful. And Baljinder is actually the winner of the the session. Thank you, Baljinder. You were the winner even earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well done.
Congratulations. Baljinder was very quick. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to the session. And we'll have, next session in next 2 weeks. If you have any course query, do ping us. And if you need any career orientation or anything for that as well, feel free to ping us. We will be happy to assist you. Thank you so much. It was really
Okay,
great.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you.